During Christmas, my mother displayed our vintage photo albums to my fiancé. He went rigid, seized my hand and murmured, "Can't you see it?" "See what? How do you not notice it?" He revealed it to me and I couldn't ignore it anymore. 5 hours afterward, I contacted the authorities. I'd always imagined if something like this ever occurred, something world-changing, something worthy of sharing with a counselor or documentary filmmakers, it would arrive with a soundtrack. You understand that deep drone in the distance, a theatrical suspense, perhaps a crack of thunder, but instead, there was potato salad. There was overdone lamb. There was my mother humming Mariah Carey while cleaning the kitchen surface like she hadn't just turned nostalgia into a weapon for the 20th straight year. No thunder, just that peculiar scent our home always carries during the holidays. Lemon cleanser and something faintly scorched. I wasn't anticipating anything. That's the reality. I entered like I consistently do, grinned like I consistently do, acted like this wouldn't be another yearly reminder that I never quite belonged in the picture. My fiancé, Lucas, was his typical composed self, perceptive, silent, the sort of person who could earn a living simply by observing details. I'd brought him because I believed he could ground me. The joke was on me, I suppose. My sister Nina was already present, swirling her wine and dressed in something tan and costly looking. Her boyfriend nodded frequently. My parents grinned like they were sincere. Dinner was dinner. Familiar, restrained, strained underneath the exterior. The roast was parched. The conversation was cutting. My mother inquired about Nina's recent position. My father questioned Lucas about technology like he'd never encountered a millennial previously. Nobody questioned me about anything, but that's typical. I used to become troubled. Now I simply calculate how much time passes before they act like I'm invisible. This year, 9 minutes. Following dessert, Mom performed what she consistently does. She clapped her hands and announced, "I retrieved the albums." Like it was unexpected and not something she had orchestrated with tactical accuracy. She consistently retrieves the albums. Constantly pretends like she just discovered them in the corridor closet beneath a stack of kitchen towels. And we all grin like we haven't examined the same stained pages countless times previously. Nina leaned forward like she was viewing an awards ceremony. Her boyfriend displayed his most interested expression. Lucas sat beside me, quiet. I observed him more than the photographs. First album, birthdays, beach excursions, uncomfortable school pictures. Second album, Nina as an infant, mother radiant, father proud. Third album, me. That's when Lucas transformed. He didn't speak anything initially, but I witnessed it. The way his shoulders stiffened, the way he examined one page, then another. The way he angled his head the precise same way he does when he's editing a photograph and discovers a poor crop. He was analyzing, measuring, and then without glancing at me, he clutched my hand beneath the table. "Can't you see it?" he whispered. I blinked. "See what? How do you not notice it?" Then he released my hand and returned to turning pages like nothing had occurred, smiling, agreeing with my mother's commentary about how I once attempted to feed a pine cone to a stray cat. I sat there frozen. My ears were buzzing. I attempted to match his pace, maintain my smile in position, but it felt like my skin was inside out. When I leaned in and asked him again, he shook his head slightly. "I'll clarify later," he said. "Just play along." Which is honestly the emotional slogan of my entire childhood. We departed 20 minutes later. Lucas invented something about an early departure. Or perhaps it was a late video call. My mother worried. My father didn't mind. Nina didn't glance up from her device. I kissed everyone farewell like I wasn't falling apart internally. In the vehicle, Lucas reached into his jacket and retrieved several loose photographs. He must have taken them from the pile next to the albums. I hadn't even noticed. "Look," he said. I did. Sort of. The first one was me in a pink jacket standing before a stone barrier. I'd seen it previously. It existed in my memory like terrible wallpaper. "What?" I said. It's simply a photograph. He handed me 2 more. Identical face, he said. Same angle, same expression, same shadows. Look more carefully. I looked and then I witnessed it. It was me. The exact same version of me, duplicated into different environments. One before a fence, one beside a swing set, one at a fountain. But the expression never altered. Not one muscle. They recycled my face, I said. My voice sounded odd, like it originated from the back of my throat. He nodded. Then he handed me another. A baby, pale, lighter hair, different bone structure. That's not you, he said. I don't believe they ever possessed baby pictures of you. Final one. Me, mother, and father before some old building. My outline was blurry. The shadows didn't align. I looked like a sticker someone forgot to finish removing. I stared at it for an extended time, then I laughed. Not a genuine laugh, the kind of sound you make when something shatters in your head. So I'm a collage, I said. That's entertaining. Lucas didn't laugh. Why would they fabricate this? I asked. He didn't respond. Neither did I. I didn't realize it yet, but 5 hours later, I would be calling the authorities. The thing about denial is that it doesn't shatter all at once. It seeps like an old pipe beneath the sink that everyone agrees not to discuss. You know it's dripping. You hear it, smell it, but you keep washing your hands and walking away. I stared at those photographs all night. Lucas eventually fell asleep beside me, but I didn't move. I just sat there in bed like some child waiting for monsters to appear. Except the monsters already had names. Mother and father. The photographs were arranged on my nightstand. I kept examining them like they were going to repair themselves while I wasn't watching. They didn't. My face was still there, pasted, replicated, frozen in some preset expression I didn't remember creating. That baby still wasn't me. The lighting still completely wrong. And it struck me. Not as a scream or some thunderclap of realization, but like a whisper I couldn't silence. I had no idea where I originated from. I mean that literally. I have no memories before I was 5. None. When I was younger, I used to think that was normal. Or maybe not normal exactly, but at least understandable. My parents said it was because of the conflict. I was small. They said I was traumatized. They said the brain defends itself. They said many things. And I believed them because what's the alternative? Telling your 2nd grade teacher that you think you skipped being a toddler? That your earliest memory is of standing in a fluorescent lit corridor in a new country with your mother telling you to smile at someone holding a clipboard. Yeah, that was my first real memory. The immigration office, the buzz of lights, the feeling that everything was loud and cold and wrong. I didn't understand English yet, but I understood the look in my mother's eyes. Perform. From there, it was normal as it could be. We had a small apartment. I started school. My mother packed my lunches like the other mothers did, except she didn't write notes. She sent me off with perfectly folded napkins instead. My father read the newspaper like it owed him money. They worked hard. They gave me what I needed. But love, that was something else. When my sister Nina was born 2 years later, the temperature in the house changed overnight. Suddenly, there were baby books and camcorder footage and scrapbooks with glitter letters. There were birthday parties with coordinated themes. There were spa days. There were hugs. There was warmth. None of that had been there for me ever. With me it was always, you're strong. You're independent. You never needed much. Which is just another way of saying, we didn't give you much. I used to tell myself it was because I was older, because I was first, because they were figuring it out. But now I wasn't so sure. There were no aunts, no uncles, no cousins. No one ever visited from the old country. We never went back. My parents said they had no one left. It was war, they said. Everyone is scattered. I asked about family once. My father said it was complicated. My mother changed the subject. And then there was the Facebook message. I was 15. I walked into the kitchen and saw her on the laptop. She was staring at a message in a language I couldn't read at the time. Serbian. There was a name I didn't recognize. A woman. The message had hearts in it. My mother's face was blank. Then she deleted it, blocked the sender, closed the laptop. When I asked who it was, she said, "Spam." Spam doesn't send you messages that make your hands shake. But I let it go because I always let it go. I was diagnosed with PTSD at 17. Nightmares, panic attacks, this dull, ever-present fear, like something was always about to happen, like I was waiting for a door to slam that never did. My therapist asked me about the war. I told her I didn't remember it. She said that was probably why, except now I know I wasn't scared of the war. I was scared of her. I didn't remember that right away. It didn't hit like lightning. It came in pieces. That night, as I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the photographs Lucas had taken, one memory blinked to life like a flashlight in a dark room. A woman, not my mother, not the one who raised me, someone else. A softer face, dark eyes. She smelled like citrus. I was holding her hand. And then there was another woman, not the one who raised me. Someone else. Softer voice, gentle hands. I was holding her hand. Then the woman I grew up calling mother walked in. She was younger, smiling like she'd just arrived. The first woman leaned down and said in Serbian, "This is your babysitter." That was the first time I met her. Then another flash. Me pulling on a coat, crying, saying, "I want mama." And a hand on my shoulder, tight. "Don't say that again. If you talk about her, you disappear." I remember those words now. I didn't before, but they were there. Buried under years of being told to smile for the camera. And then the screaming. I was in a bed, new, strange. My legs kicking, my chest burning. I was calling for her. The first woman, the one who smelled like citrus. And another voice, cold. Enough. I don't know how long the panic lasted. Maybe minutes, maybe centuries. Lucas found me on the kitchen floor gasping, my palms flat against the tiles like I was trying to hold on to something. He tried to touch me. I flinched. He sat beside me instead, not saying anything. And somewhere in the middle of that, still on the floor, breath caught in my throat, vision swimming, I reached for my phone and dialed 911. The operator picked up on the third ring. 911, what's your emergency? My chest was caving in, my mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Lucas was still kneeling beside me, one hand on my back, steadying my breath like he could anchor it. I finally forced the words out. "I've been kidnapped." A pause. Sharper now. "Ma'am, are you safe right now?" I think so. "I'm home." "Is the person who took you with you now?" No, it was a long time ago. I think I just remembered it." Another pause, then a shift in tone, gentle, still controlled. "Okay, take a breath for me. You're not in danger right now." "No, but it's real. I remember now. They weren't my parents." Lucas reached over and took the phone. "Hi, this is her fiancé. She's having a panic attack. Just came on about 15 minutes ago. She's been uncovering some things. Childhood photos that look clearly edited, no birth records, weird inconsistencies, and she just had a very vivid memory. She believes she was taken when she was approximately 5. It would have occurred 25 years ago outside the United States." The operator remained composed. "I understand. What's your location?" Lucas provided our address. "I'm going to record this as a welfare check and transfer it to the department's investigative unit," she said. "You'll receive a call from someone to follow up. If either of you feels threatened in the meantime, don't hesitate. Call us back immediately." Lucas thanked her and disconnected. I was still trembling, but the words had been spoken aloud to someone genuine, and there was no undoing that. I didn't sleep. I bathed, changed clothing, folded laundry I didn't recall putting in. I think I cleared the dishwasher at one point. Lucas lingered, prepared tea, observed me like I was glassware in an earthquake. You should rest, he said at one point. I nodded, didn't budge. I kept anticipating someone to knock on the door or burst through it, or for the floor to just collapse from beneath me. Instead, the apartment remained silent, humming softly like it didn't care what was occurring to me. The following morning, I received an email. Case file established, awaiting contact from an assigned officer. Someone would be in touch. That was it. I showed Lucas. He read it twice, then simply nodded. It's real now, he said. Real. Like it hadn't been real when I was curled on the kitchen floor attempting to remember if I'd ever actually had a mother. The knock arrived 2 days later. 3 taps, deliberate, calm, like a courtesy. I opened the door and saw my mother holding a brown paper bag like she was delivering cookies. My father stood slightly behind her, hands in his coat pockets, face neutral. Can we come in? She asked, already stepping forward. Lucas appeared beside me. I nodded slowly and let them in. They sat on the couch like they were visitors. My mother placed the paper bag on the coffee table. I brought some of that soup you enjoy, the carrot one from when you were ill that time. That time I was 8 and she told me to stop crying because I wasn't dying. That soup. Thanks, I said flatly. She smoothed her coat and looked around the apartment like it might help her figure out what to say. My father stayed standing. We spoke to the police, she said finally. They said you filed a report. I did. She looked like she wanted to be offended but didn't have the energy. You should have just come to us first. Would you have told me the truth? She paused, blinked. We didn't want to hurt you. Lucas spoke. So, it's true. My father finally stepped forward. Yes, he said. You're not biologically ours. I exhaled through my nose. Not relief, just confirmation of something I already knew, but needed someone to say aloud. My mother nodded. Your mother was young, very young. She couldn't take care of you. She begged us to take you with us. Begged. I said she wanted you to have a better life. We were leaving and she was staying behind. It was war. She knew what that meant. So where is she now? My mother folded her hands. We don't know. You never checked. It was complicated. Lucas crossed his arms. Why fake the photos? My father didn't flinch. We didn't want her to feel like she didn't belong. So you erased her real life and invented one? Lucas asked. My mother's voice cracked. You were 5. You cried for her for weeks. It was awful. But you adjusted. You forgot. We thought it was better that way. You could have told me. And said what? She snapped. That we took you from your mother? That you had a life you'd never remember? You would have hated us. You think I don't? Silence. Then she pulled something from her bag. A photo. Me, maybe 6 years old, holding my father's hand. This one's real, she said, like that was supposed to fix it. I didn't touch it. They stood. My father looked at Lucas, then at me. We didn't steal you. We rescued you. I didn't answer. Neither did Lucas. And the worst part, for about 10 seconds, I almost believed them. I didn't ask them gently. I said, tell me her name. My mother blinked like she didn't understand the question. My father did his usual thing where he rubbed his face like he was exhausted by the weight of having to deal with me. You were 5, she said. Your memories, they aren't reliable. Try me. She shook her head. We didn't want to hurt you. You already did. They looked at each other. Then my father said the name like it was a confession. Mora Petrovic. No address, no contact, just the name. When I asked for more, my mother said, we lost touch. It was war. Right. And apparently war also erases your ability to type a name into Google. We started searching that night. Lucas was on his laptop. I was on mine. My Serbian is passable when I'm talking to elderly relatives about food, but online research is another story. Mora Petrovic, apparently not an uncommon name. There were a few dead ends. A florist in Novi Sad, a retired gym teacher in Belgrade. Then I clicked on a grainy Facebook profile. No smile, no filters, just a woman with dark hair pulled back, early 50s, faint lines around her eyes, and a face that made my stomach drop. I stared. Lucas leaned over. "She looks like you," he said. I shook my head slowly. "No, I look like her." It wasn't just a resemblance. It was the kind of similarity that makes you uncomfortable. The kind you don't see in the mirror until someone else points it out. Same jawline, same eyes, same expression when she wasn't trying to have one. She hadn't posted in months, but her About section listed a town in southern Serbia, the same one I'd heard once in passing when I was 10, and my mother slipped up. We sent a message. We used Google Translate. It probably sounded robotic, but Lucas checked it 3 times. I stared at the screen the entire time like it might answer me back. "Hello. I was given your name. I think I might be your daughter." Then we waited. She replied the next morning. 1 line. "Can we talk?" We set up a video call. I don't remember agreeing to it. Lucas did all the clicking. I just sat there wrapped in a blanket, feeling like I was about to meet someone from a dream I didn't know I'd had. And then her face appeared. She looked older than her profile photo, tired, but still her, still me. She didn't speak at first, just stared. Her hand went to her mouth like she needed to hold something in. "I wasn't sure," she said finally. "But now that I see you, I wanted to say something, anything. But the words got stuck somewhere behind the lump in my throat." "I've been looking for you for 25 years, she said. "Your name, it wasn't Isabel back then. It was Melina." I froze. Melina. It didn't sound familiar, but it felt right, like a shoe I hadn't worn in decades, but still fit. I blinked, trying to stay steady. "Did you give me up?" Her face broke. Not dramatically. Not like in the movies. Just this quiet collapse in her expression. Her mouth opened, then closed again. "No," she said. "God, no." She looked off screen for a second like she needed to ground herself. Then she turned back. "You were 5. I had to leave you with someone I trusted, a neighbor, a friend, just for a couple hours while I ran to the municipal office to finalize some papers. When I came back, you were gone." She took a breath. "They said she, your babysitter, left earlier, said you went with her, but you never came home." Her voice cracked. "We searched. I went to every police station, every camp. I posted flyers. I called shelters. Everyone said children get lost during war. But I knew you didn't get lost." She paused. "I just didn't know where to look." I sat very still. Lucas was the one who asked, "Did you ever apply to leave?" She nodded. "I was approved for a resettlement program to the US. Families with children got priority. I had everything ready." She looked at me then. "But after you disappeared, they took me off the list. Not that I would have left without you." And then it hit me harder than any memory ever had. That's why. That's why they took me. Why they needed me. Why they edited me into those photos like I was some final puzzle piece. They didn't take me because they loved me. They took me because I got them out. We sat in silence for a while after that. Her eyes were red. Mine probably were, too. Lucas didn't say anything. Just sat next to me like he was trying to hold the edges of the room together. "I never knew where you went," she said softly. "I thought maybe someone took you over the border. I thought maybe you died. I didn't know what to hope for. I didn't know what to say to that. What do you say to a woman who lost you?" "They changed my name," I said instead. "Isabel." She nodded as if the sound of it hurt. Melina was your grandmother's name. I don't know what I expected to feel. Rage. Relief. I felt hollow, like someone had reached inside and scooped everything out, but politely left the shell so I could continue functioning in public. 2 weeks later, we stood side by side at the precinct. She wore a navy coat. I brought the photos. The officer took our statements, asked us questions I barely remember answering. My mother, my real mother, unfolded a creased flyer from her purse, the original missing persons notice. My name, the first one, printed beneath a grainy photo. Melina Petrovic, age 5, last seen wearing a red scarf. This is her, she told the officer. This is my daughter. And for the first time, someone else nodded. We pressed charges, and I stopped pretending the past was something I owed to anyone but myself. It didn't go to trial. They were found guilty during the investigation. Immigration fraud, falsifying federal documents, concealing a child abduction across international borders. Turns out they never gave up their Serbian passports. They just tucked them away in a drawer right next to their moral compass. Their American citizenship was revoked. They were deported within 6 months. No appeals, no second chances, and they can never come back. Nina stayed. Of course she did. She was born here. At first, she didn't say much, just stared at the floor a lot. Then one day she came over and said, "That was really messed up." It wasn't an apology exactly, but it was something. We talk more now than we ever did growing up. She's not my sister by blood, but she still knows how I take my coffee, and that counts for something. As for Mara, my real mother, she moved to the US 6 months after everything settled. Family reunification program. Lucas and I helped with the paperwork. She got a job at a bakery near our apartment. Says it reminds her of the one she worked at when she was 21, before everything happened. We're organizing the wedding. She's on the guest list. She wept when she received the invitation. The people who raised me lost everything. And honestly, they constructed their life on a deception. So when it crumbled, I didn't feel guilty. I felt liberated. Did I go too far, or not far enough? Tell me in the comments.